Hi, I have gotten quite a few requests to make a video really focusing on some strengthening and awareness for handstands and arm balancing. We're gonna be using the wall, so make sure you have a plain wall somewhere. You can send your legs against the wall. We're gonna be using one block. If you have two blocks, even better, but one will do as well. And we're gonna be using just a little bit the big exercise ball. If you don't have one today, that's totally fine. It's just a little extra tip. We're gonna be warming up well, and then we're gonna do some simple-ish exercises to go upside down. If you are afraid, this is good for you. We always gonna be leaning on something. We will always have to support. So let's get started. Let's start with a wrist warm-up. Sit on your heels. You can open your knees a little, just get comfortable, grounding your sit bones down. Extend your fingers in front of you, palms facing down. Now squeeze your fingers in, make a tight fist. Start to flex your wrist, knuckles pointing down. Extend your fingers and the fingernails are leading the way all the way up. So you extend your wrist. Squeeze the fingers in, make a fist and flex. Extend your fingers and the fingernails are leading the way up. Squeeze in. Keep going. Flex. Extend your fingers out. Extend your wrist and squeeze in. Flex, fingers open, leading the way up, shoulders down though. Squeeze in. Couple more. Really feel your forearms as well. Try to go maximum here. Fingers up, toss your forearms. Squeeze in, flex, extend your fingers and lead the way up. Squeeze in, just straighten your wrist and open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Go a little faster. Make this little sound from your fingernails and start to open your arms out to the side. When you get to the side, turn the palms facing forward and start to open your arms a little more. Really feel your chest open. Go behind your back. Open, open, open. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring the hands down, fingers facing you, thumbs pointing out. Spread the fingers wide, come to your all fours. And start to make circles with your shoulders. So circle around one way. Keep the elbows micro bent, shifting the weight. And let's go the other way. Pressing the fingertips down, knuckles down. Come back to the center. And now, back of your hand facing down, thumbs pointing forward, fingers in. Bend your elbows to the side, chest down, and extend. Creating a little pressure. This is the good one. When we are on our hands, we are flexing or extending the wrist, and now we are flexing. Good opposite stretch. Lift the elbows extended and squeeze your fingers in. Again, make a fist and open. Fist, open. Fist, open. Couple more. Make sure the neck is long. Shoulders as soft as possible. Nice. Now flatten your hands again. You can glue your four fingers together, thumbs pointing out, fingers to the front corners, thumbs in a little, and then lift your wrist off the floor. Keep the four fingers on the mat on the floor. Just chest strengthening. And always control the coming down slowly. You can always try to bring the shoulders a little more over your fingers. And then maybe weight a tiny bit more back and see if you can come all the way up to your fingertips and lower down. Up and lower. Really working the whole hand. Let's do one more. Nice. Bring the back of your hands down, fingers facing you, and lean back a little. Again, the counter one. Let's get into the spider grip next, which is crucial for your arm balancing. So here, spread the fingers really wide and start to grip the mat. So you really wanna press the knuckles down, the heels of your hands down, the fingertips down, and gripping the mat like you wanna pull in with your fingertips. Really gripping the mat, spider grip. And while you do that, can you think of outer rotating your shoulders, broaden your collarbones, lengthen the neck, kind of like hucking the elbows in, squeezing the armpits in. So do that. Tuck your toes under, navel up to your spine, and can you float the knees off the floor? Really squeeze the elbows in, outer rotate your shoulders, lengthen your neck, and then see if you can press the space between your shoulder blades up to the sky a little without rounding the shoulders in. Hold here, like you pull your fingers to your knees, toes to your wrist. Still lengthen the lower back. And lower the knees down. Release the fingers. Take a breath. Let's do again. Feel this engagement for the whole body, starting from your spider grip. So spread the fingers wide. Really grip the mat. Press the fingertips and knuckles, heels of your hands down. Squeeze the elbows, armpits in, outer rotate your shoulders. Tuck your toes under, hover the knees off the floor, few centimeters. Navel up to your spine, really grip the mat, and then see if you can spread the space between your shoulder blades up to the sky a little without rounding the shoulders in. Beautiful, and release the knees down. Untuck your toes, lean the weight back. You can soften your elbows down and move your shoulders a little side to side. Side to side. And now find your way to your down dog. Tuck your toes under. You can walk it out here first a little to open the back side of your legs. And once you feel ready, start to find a stillness, extending the knees the best you can, pressing the heels a little closer to the floor. Again, start from your hands, really press the fingertips down. Now you want to press the pinky finger side down as well to feel the connection all the way to your scapula. And then see if you can lift the ears to your shoulders. So you really press away from the floor, you lift the ears to your shoulders, lengthen your lower back, making this long line from your fingers to your hips. Keep pulling the ears to your shoulders, but start to outer rotate your shoulders. Make that space for your neck. Really outer rotating, again, kind of squeezing the elbows in a little. And then press the space between your shoulder blades up to the sky without losing anything here. So you wanna make more space between your shoulder blades, rounding it up a little, hiding your heart. Nice. Release. Soften your chest a little here. Again, press the ears or lift the ears to your shoulders by pressing away from the mat. Lifting the ears to your shoulders. Make more space. Then outer rotate your shoulders. Now you make that space for your neck. Outer rotating, squeezing in. Feel the whole side body. The connection from your pinky fingers to your scapula. And then spreading that space between the shoulder blades up to the sky a little. Still lengthening the lower back though. Only that space between the shoulder blades. Nice. Now release the knees down. Soft cat-cow. Inhale to melt. Exhale to gently round. Inhale to melt. Exhale to round. And now bring the chin down, chest down between your hands. If you can lower the chest all the way down, do that. I hope you can hear me with my mic underneath my chest. You can tuck your toes under. You can either walk the knees a little further back or a little further forward. But try to lower the chest down. And if you're comfortable here, you can start to release your hands. Extend the fingers behind you, interlace your fingers, squeeze the heels of hands together, make a fist, and lift the pinkies off your lower back. Maybe release and start to walk your fingers from the side in front of you. Move a little further back. You can come up to your fingertips. Soften your shoulders away from the ears. Maybe soften your elbows down. Now bring the hands onto your shoulders and slowly help yourself up. Tuck your tail between your sit bones and really round your spine. Keep rounding. You can shift the weight a little back and forth and back and forth. Adjust the distance between your hands and your feet so you are in your all fours. And extend your right fingers in front of you, palms facing in. Start to open your right fingers up to the sky, palm facing out. Make a big circle. Sit the hips down to your heels and really open your chest. Reach the right fingers behind you. You can bounce 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Come back into all fours. Right fingers reaching up in front of you. Flex or actually extend. I always want to say flex because feet we flex this way. But with the wrist, this is actually the extension. Extend your wrist and bring the heel of your hand to your right knee, tuck the tailbone under, around, around, around your spine. Extend your right fingers in front of you, open up to the sky, sit the hips down to your heels and bounce 3 times to open the chest a little more. 1, 2, 3. Come up to your all fours, fingers reaching up in front of you. Extend your wrist, tuck the tail under, touch your thigh, your knee, really press the hips forward, around your spine. And one more, right fingers reaching forward up to the sky behind you, bounce 3 times. open, open, open through your all fours or all threes. Reach the right fingers forward, extend the wrist around and tap to lower the right hand down. Inhale, melt your chest, open your heart. Exhale, around. Neutral spine, left fingers reaching forward, palm is facing in. Open up to the sky, palm facing out. Sit the hips down to your heels. And open, bounce 3 times. Open a little more. A little more. A little more. Lift the hips. Reach the fingers forward. Extend your wrist. And tap it to your thigh, to your knee. Really round, round, round. Neutral spine, reach forward. Up to the sky. Sit back, open and bounce for 1, 2, 3. Hips forward, weight forward. Reach in front of you. Round, extend your wrist and tap. So you want to bring the hips forward, weight forward. And 1 more, neutral spine. Open twist, sit back. And 1, and 2, and 3. Reach up, forward, and round to tap. Lower the left hand down. Inhale to arch. Exhale, softly round. Inhale and exhale. Sit the hips down to your heels. 1 more here. This was a really long warm-up for the wrist, but it is necessary. It's so useful, and you are already from the beginning activating the whole side body, the scapula, the whole upper back, and your deep core as well. So you can't do too long warm-up. So if you got that block, set it in front of you. 1 more, what I like to do. You can also do that in the end of the class, but it's a great warm up as well, and also that awareness for your forearms and the opposite rotations. So let's start. Bring the right wrist to the block. Hold the right wrist with your left arm. Now palm is facing up, and you just start to rotate. Palm facing down, and again flip the back of your hand down. And you rotate, and you rotate. So you feel this rotation of the forearm, wrist, and it connects all the way to your upper arm and your shoulder. And you are pressing now the wrist to the block and the back of your hand. And again, press the heel of your hand, wrist down, the back of your hand, and wrist down. Rotating, feeling that rotation. Let's do 1 more. Nice. So you feel the connection, the awareness all the way up to your shoulder and your scapula even. Let's go to the other side. So the back of your hand facing down, hold with your right, and you start to rotate, flipping the hand, and back of your hand down, bringing the heel of your hand down and the back of your hand. Feeling that rotation. You make a little resistance with your right hand. So you just want to feel the forearm rotation underneath your right hand. Kind of like pushing gently against. And feel what's happening underneath your scapula. Really feel all the way up to the side body. 1 more. Nice. Release. Rotate the shoulders a couple of times. Maybe shake your hands a little. And let's start to work on some upside down fun. Now turn facing to the wall. Come to your all fours first. And just let the space between your shoulder blades to drop melt down. And then press the space between your shoulder blades up to the sky. Now you let the heart drop. And then you hide your heart and you really spread the space up. Just moving the space between the shoulder blades. Keep the neck long. Let your heart drop. And then hide it. Press the mat. Again. And spread it out. Let's do one more. And spread it out. Nice. Now lie on your belly. And then bring the hands to the wall. So your wrist is extended. Make sure you have the heels of your hands and the fingertips really glued to the wall. Arms are straight. Bring your forehead close to your mat. And now the first thing, press the pubic bone down and hover the belly button off the floor. Really press your hands against the wall and see if you can hover your ribs off the floor. And then let your ribs soften down. You really want to press away. You want to press the shoulders to your ears, press away, and then hover the ribs off the floor. Make that space underneath your ribs. And lower down. Maybe see if you go a little closer. So you really get that feeling to press away. And then hover, lift the ribs, make a little more space underneath you. And lower down. So press away, hover, really rounding that space, pressing away, still auto rotating the shoulders. And lower. And hover, pubic bone down. And lower. One more, press away. Use the wall, hover the ribs. And lower. Nice. Now turn the other way around. Lie on your back. Same thing. Close to the wall. So you can really set the whole hand to the wall. So you press again the heels of your hands, the fingertips to the wall. Arms are straight. And same thing here. You really want to press away. Like you want to press the shoulders to your ears. At the same time, you auto-rotate your shoulders, you hug your ribs in, spreading the space between your shoulder blades down to the mat now. Can you engage your legs? You can use slight auto-rotation if you want to, Pilates V. Press the lower back down, really rounding that upper back space between the shoulder blades, and lift your legs, pointing up to the sky. Keep rounding the space between your shoulder blades down, pressing the hands against the wall. And then just lower the legs. And lift. Navel up to the spine. Keep the lower back on the floor. And lift up. Lower. And lift up. The back of your shoulders are not touching the mat now because you're pressing away. You're pressing the shoulders towards your ears. Nice. Keep this press against the wall and see if you can bring your toes overhead. Flex your feet and maybe tuck your toes down. Still keep pressing. Keep pressing against the wall. Nice. And lower the legs. Keep pressing, pressing, pressing. Lift. And again, bring those behind your head. Push, push, push. Keep pressing the heels of your hands, fingers to the wall, really rounding that space, pressing away, and slowly lower the hips down, toes pointing up to the sky. You can let the hands float off the wall, And then start to lower your legs, hovering off the floor. Now start to lift your head and shoulders. Find your way to your teaser. You can reach the fingers up diagonal and slowly find your way to your teaser, not the boat pose this time. Legs are a little bit lower, eye level. And then can you bring the arms behind your ears, soften your ribs down, that corset activation. Slowly start to lower the lower back down. Legs are hovering, shoulders maybe come down, but your head is lifted. Reach the fingers diagonally in front of you. Find your way to your teaser. Reach past your toes. Bring the arms behind your ears. Soften your rib cage down. Lower down. Lower back. Legs hovering. Shoulders might come down. Head is lifted. Reach the fingers forward. Slowly find your way up. And then you can lift your legs a little higher. And release. Nice. So the teaser is a great exercise for handstands because you aim to bring the arms further behind your ears while still keeping this corset activation. Nice. And then when we actually start to come up upside down, yes, you can always practice certain things. I like to practice back facing to the wall, but I would always start the other way. Give you a little bit more trust in your balance upside down. You are not just relying on the wall. How I like to start often myself is the splits against the wall. So you can set your hands down, shoulder distance apart, and let's send the left toes up. So you climb your left toes up to the wall. And then see if you bring the weight into your hands, you lighten your right toes off the floor, and then start to pull your right thigh bone into the hip socket. You are rotating the left inner thigh up to the sky. So from the possibly there is a little outer rotation when you start. You want to square your hips and bring your hips a little more over your shoulders. Again, you can lower the right toes down. It's okay if you auto-rotate your hips. Even lean back to stretch to your split. And then again, bring the weight onto your hands. Lighten the right toes off the floor. Flex your right foot and start to pull the thigh bone into the socket. Inner, rotating the left thigh up to the sky. Bringing the shoulders and your hips a little more over your wrist. Lower the right toes down and then you can press the chest back, hips against the wall. You can walk your hands a little closer. Same thing, weight onto your hands, use that spider grip. Remember, fingertips are your brakes here. Pull the thigh bone into the socket, lifting the right hip up, rotating the left inner thigh up to the sky. So inner rotating the left leg, hips a little more over your shoulders and lower down, press back. Nice. Walk your hands forward and let's change the leg. Now your right toes climbing up to the wall. Keep the arms a little further away from the wall first and then just lighten the left toes. Pull the left thigh bone into the socket, rotating the right inner thigh up to the sky so you really square your hips. Bring the weight a little more over your wrist. And lower down, press back. Oh, I can already feel the shoulders nicely. Let's walk the hands a little closer. And same thing, float, square, and try to get the hips over your shoulders a little more. Lower down, press back, take a little stretch. And then you can walk your hands forward so you can lower the right toes down. Find your malasana in between. Let the weight sink down. You can always take a little stretch in between, maybe interlace your fingers and start to make number 8. But the spider grip is crucial because you always balance on your fingertips, but also you release tension on your wrist. When you shift the weight onto your fingertips, your knuckles, evenly the whole hand. Nice. And then another thing to do, like facing to the wall, is what we did earlier in the down dog. Do you remember? So when we are here, first thing you wanna do, you really wanna press away from the mat. So you kind of press the shoulders to your ears, ears to your shoulders. And then after that, you think of outer rotation, outer rotation, outer rotation. And then you wanna spread the space between your shoulder blades up, back, rounding that space, really hocking in from the front. So come again. Hands down on your mat, shoulder distance apart about. And then let's walk the feet up to the wall. You can always start a little bit further away from the wall, and then little by little, you walk a little closer to the wall. So here, if you want to keep your toes stuck under, you can keep your toes stuck under. First, just let the chest sink down a little, and then press away. Bring the shoulders to your ears, around the space between your shoulder blades, and then out rotate your shoulders. Feel this press away from the floor. Nice, and then just let the chest sink down a little, release. And again, press, hug your ribs in, out rotate your shoulders, really press away from the floor, shoulders up to your ears. And soften. And again, press, hug your ribs in, corset activation. You right away activate your lower core also. Press, press, press. You can walk your hands even closer, even closer, even closer. And same thing. You let the chest melt a little, and then you press the shoulders to your ears. You round the space between your shoulder blades and outer rotate your shoulders. You right away activate your glutes as well. And let the chest melt. And press away, hug the ribs in, round the space between your shoulder blades, behind you, outer rotate your shoulders. Press the shoulders up to your ears, feel your fingertips, your spider grip. Nice. And then slowly you can walk your hands away a little, so it's easier to walk the feet all the way down. Find your malasana again. Let's take a little twist here. You can walk the left fingers out, pressing the left knee open with the help of your upper arm. Right fingers reaching up. Open your chest and maybe take a point. Hook your fingertips, or left holding the right wrist to pull the right elbow a little straighter. Open your chest. Open your shoulders. Now release. And the other way, right fingers walking out, press the knee thigh open, left fingers reaching up. You can find a point, hook your fingertips, or now the right holding the left wrist to pull the left elbow a little straighter. Broaden your collarbones. Release the neck. And release. Now let's work on some stuff back facing to the wall. And now when we are working back facing to the wall is there as a mental support. So what you can do, if you are close enough to the wall, you can use lightly the back of your head as a little support, a little reminder, but it means your neck alignment is slightly different. So let's say I go really near the wall. So I send my legs up. I keep my knees bent now. If I wanna work on pressing up, keeping knees straight, I gotta bring the shoulders a little more over the fingers and the hips a little more over the shoulders. So if I'm close enough, I can really lightly tap the back of the head to the wall to give me a mental support here. But your neck alignment is not the exactly same here. So usually it's more beneficial to keep the neck long, not looking too far back, kind of looking in front of you. But if you wanna use the wall as a support, you can lightly use the back of your head against the wall. So things you can do, so if you go close to the wall enough, feet together, toes together, heels together, really lightly touching the back of your head to the wall, and then try to jump from both feet, but you right away bring the hips over the shoulders, so you find your balance. And then again, bring the knees, tuck the knees into your chest, start to extend your legs, and slowly bringing the toes down. So when you have this wall behind you, you dare to bring the hips a little more over the shoulders. So these jumps are actually great when you just really, really lightly touch the back of your head to the wall. So try to jump and right away bring the hips up, but check here that the head is really light. You're using the fingertips as your brakes. And then again, you can start to extend your legs. And with the control, bring the toes down. Or you start the same. Hug your ribs in first. You jump, bring the hips over. Use your fingertips as brakes. Straighten the knees, right away hug the ribs in. So when you straighten the knees and you hug the ribs in, your head comes away from the wall automatically because you bring yourself into the right alignment. Here when you jump, it's okay to bring the hips a little further, but now when you extend, you hug the ribs in, your head right away kind of lightens off the wall. So those jumps are great to get the feeling of how much you have to bring your hips over the shoulders. Another one you can do with the same idea, your back of your head really lightly touching the wall, is straddle lift. So what I like to do myself here is again go quite close to the wall and really, really lightly tapping behind the head to the wall, and then come to your tippy toes. Start to extend your right leg to the side. You can flex your ankle and see if you can lighten the left toes. Open your legs, bring them all the way up, hug your ribs in, and then lower down with the control. Then your left, come to your tippy toes. Bring the weight over the fingertips a little more. Open the left leg to the side. Can you lighten your right? Find your straddle. Extend your toes up to the sky, hug your ribs in. And then slowly with the control, bringing the left toes down. But you don't want to rely on the wall. It's just a little reminder, mental support, so you don't go over. That's why in this one you want to be close to the wall. Otherwise you bring your hips too far and it's never possible in the center of the room. So you got to find that balance, not go too far over, but dare to bring the weight far enough over your shoulders, your fingertips. So this is a great one. You can keep working on that, or you can try little by little, not open so much, right away, lighten and then open together and bring down. So you walk close, you don't open so far to the side, you try to lighten a little sooner, so you open your legs together, up and lower, down. And then maybe adding on, you get upright, your head is really lightly touching the wall. You can open, and how about now? Use your fingertips as brakes, your hands are not passive here. Can you bring your legs together? And open, again, press away from the floor. Now you have more space here. So your neck alignment is different. You're looking down between your hands, not in front of you. Just remember that when you try to go away from the floor. Now you are just looking down. And then remember to stretch the wrist in between. These are great exercises to find the alignments, but you never wanna rely on the wall. So the head is touching the wall really, really lightly. And you gotta go close to the wall if you use your head. If you don't use your head, feel free to go a little further out away from the wall. One way to find the nice alignment for your upper back and your hips is if you start a little bit further out and you just find your wall. And now keep the knees bent. Think of this, press the shoulders up to your ears and then hug your ribs in, spread the space between your shoulder blades behind you, outer rotate your shoulders, and then see if you push your hips forward. So you try to straighten your hip flexors and you just lighten your toes off the floor, working on that. Because here you get this alignment right away. You press the shoulders up to your ears, you outer rotate your shoulders, you hug your ribs in, you press the hips forward, and you feel this connection to your ribs, to your hips. Use your fingertips as brakes, and you still have the wall there to remind you so you don't fall over. Also, more you have a range of motion, more possibilities you have. So the flexibility and strength, again, go hand in hand. When you can open your legs a little more freely, you have more options to go upside down with the control. So we don't have to kick up so much. For example, kind of kicking up one leg at a time. But when you have more flexibility, just shift the weight. So you lift your leg and you just shift the weight to lift up into your handstand. So see here, I'm holding. I actually didn't even jump much. So when you have this range of motion, you can kind of just swing up. Here, don't have to use so much speed and force. You just shift the weight and you have better chance to catch your balance because you don't have so much speed to go up. Yeah. And of course, like really pressing up into the handstand. That one you can also practice with the wall. It feels safer. But little by little, try to not to rely on it as much. Yeah, so the press into the handstand. That one also, now you're gonna bring your hands a little further away from the wall. I would say good distance is at least one hand length away. One hand length away is kind of good start. You bring those together, heels together, come onto your tippy toes and start to walk your feet closer to your hands. Maybe the back of your head, again, really lightly touching the wall. Can you tap your right toes to your right wrist? Lift a little higher, closer to your elbow, and down. Flex your left foot to your left forearm, closer to your elbow, and lift. Now lift your right, maybe your left floating as well. Nice. Lift your left, maybe your right floating as well. Nice. Take a moment. Release. You can move your hands back just centimeter. And then let's see, floating both. Bring the back of your head really lightly touching the wall so you don't have that fear to go over. And then come onto your tippy toes. Can you lighten your right? Can you lighten your left? And maybe start to press up. But then right away you have to shift the weight. So you bring yourself away from the wall. Otherwise, without the wall, you would fall back. So let's go one more. When you practice this, just be aware. You have the wall there, you can play with it. But just to know, if you are doing that in the middle of the room, really, really fast, you have to change the alignment. So to lighten your feet off the floor, you have to go over. You have to go over. But when you start to press up, see that you straighten your wrist, straighten your wrist, straighten your wrist, and you right away bring the weight over. You can do like this, tapping the toes to the wall and just press away. Remember lifting the shoulders up to your ears, hugging your ribs in, spreading the space between the shoulder blades back behind you, finding that balance using your fingertips as brakes. And then slowly coming down. Oof. Yeah, so a couple of tips, and always remember to stretch your wrist afterwards. Do the counter 1. One more with the big exercise ball. That's also a good one because you cannot rely on the wall behind you. You have a different attachment point. So let me grab my ball and I'll show you a couple of my favorite things to do with the ball. So here we are. My ball is a little too soft, but I'll manage. It helps if it's not that bouncy, but yeah, that will do for now. So find your hands on your mat again, about shoulder distance apart, spread the fingers wide. Set one foot on the pole and then the other, and start to lower the hips down. So the first thing to do from your plank, to lift your hips, lower, and lift. It would be way nicer if the ball was more firmed. It's a little too bouncy. And up. Nice. And then we can work with one leg. So step onto your ball. And I would actually start from here. Try to bring your shoulders or the hips a little more over your shoulders and then lifting one leg up. Now send your hips down, bring the knee into your chest, find your balance. And again, roll the ball in, extend your toes up to the sky. Again, knee into the chest. And send up, bring the weight onto your fingertips. Knee into the chest. And send up. Another thing you can do, knee into the chest, lower the hips. And now just extend your right knee, flex your right foot, and can you tap the right toes to your right wrist, and bend, lower the hips. Lift, flex, extend, tap, and lower. One more. Lower, set your right toes down. Release, maybe come up to standing. Rotate the shoulders, stretch your wrist a little. This is always a nice one to bring the back of your hands to your side ribs. Fingers facing back. Let the shoulders, elbows drop down. And just get back into your breath as well. Breathe sideways. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then the other side. Again, step onto your ball. Try to bring the hips a little more over your shoulders. Use your fingertips as brakes. Remember that spider grip. Remember pressing the shoulders up, softening your ribs in, and extend your left toes or the other leg you didn't do yet up to the sky. But yeah, this is way tougher when the ball is too soft. So I'm really working hard today. Usually I use a ball that is way more firmed. So it's not so bouncy, definitely easier. And bring the knee into your chest. The other one was extending the leg, lifting the hips up. Type one into the socket and up. Lower bend. Lift, extend, tap. Lower bend. Lift, extend, tap. lower bend, release. Come up to standing. It's a little bit more for your wrist and your shoulders as well when the ball is too bouncy. So make sure it is not that soft. There is a lot of different variations to do with the ball. I will do another video just working with the ball. So we can do warm up everything with the ball. There is like I could do 2-hour class just using the big exercise ball. So let's do that in the next one, in the future one. But one more here, I can maybe manage with this softball today is find your way up, toes up. So here, by the way, you can keep the toes stuck under or you can keep the toes pointed. It's kind of a different feeling depending if your toes are pointed or flexed. But one, to work on your balance, so you can lift your hips up, start to extend your toes up to the sky, and then you start to bring your leg to the side. So you really try to maintain the hips over the shoulders. Flex, swing it underneath you, and from the side all the way up. But I have a little too bouncy pole today. It's just to show you what kind of things you can do. But there is another video coming in the future. Don't worry, let's try to the other side, but this is something you can start with. Lifting the toes up to the sky, flexing the ankle and bringing the leg to the side. Weight even on your hands. Down from the side to lift up. Nice, but the bouncing ball really challenges you. You start to use your hands like you want to use your feet. Come seated, find your block. If you have 2 blocks, you can use the blocks. I'm gonna set mine to the side for now, but if you have 2, feel free to use them underneath your hands. Set your feet in front of you. Hands are behind you about 1 hand distance length away. And here you just want to lift your hips up to your reversed tabletop and lower down. You might have seen that in many of my classes, I always like to do this one. So now when you lift your hips up, you keep the hips floating. You scoop your hips through, flex your ankles, and you really want to round your upper back and lift your hips up, forehead closer to your knees, and you swing your hips back. Lift up, activate your glutes. Again, swing your hips through, flex your ankles, and really lift, bend, and swing through. You can always lift one leg, lower, swing through. Again, scoop, lift one, swing, reverse tabletop. And maybe if you bring the weight far enough, you really round, you lift both and you hold your L-sit. Lower down. Bring the hips forward. Bend your elbows and squeeze the elbows closer together. Stretch your shoulders a little. You can soften the lower back down, scoop the tail between your sit bones. Or you bring the block underneath your heels. Hands by your, not too far back actually, a little bit further, I would say mid-thigh. And then you bring the weight forward a little, navel up to your spine, and you lift. And you lower, navel up to your spine, tail under, and lift. And lower. Maybe lift, lift right, lift left, and lower. Again, lift, left, right, and lower. Lift, maybe right. You have to bring the weight back, left, both, and lower. Nice. And same thing here, you can open your legs. If you practice the straddle lift, you bring the hands a little really close to you. Scoop the navel up to your spine. Use your pelvic floor and lift and lower. Again, you can use the blocks underneath your hands or underneath your heels. You lift and lower. Maybe you lift the right and lower. You lift the left and lower. For me, it always helps when I flex my ankles. Lift, maybe both. Whee! And lower down. Nice. So you get that feeling of lifting your hips up, activating the pelvic floor, really scooping under. And stretch your wrist in between. Work on your mobility too. So more open hips, easier the transitions will be. But yeah, strength and flexibility even work. Yep, I think that's about it for now. There is many more things to do, but these are some good ones to start with. Please do let me know if you would want to see more exercises. There is many more, like I say, to use to practice the press up, the straddle lift also. So we can keep practicing those together. But yeah, this is a good set to start with. And always, yeah, remember your Titipasana practice. Titipasana is amazing for practicing press up. So Titipasana, if you need a little reminder, was this one. So get that feeling of shifting the weight. But yeah, let's go dig a little bit deeper in another class. But says things that you can already pay a little bit more attention to or add them to your daily, weekly practices. Remember to stretch your wrist, anything you might need. Take a little savasana, resting in the end, let everything sink in. And yeah, I hope to see you soon again. Take care. Namaste.